Now, what is the bitter truth? The bitter truth, in my assessment, is that I think the longevity NRM has enjoyed, the popularity NRM has enjoyed, and the overwhelming number that NRM enjoys in the country has created complacency, inertia, and a sense of entitlement. And therefore, many NRM people, including some leaders, are not willing to face these truths. That these truths, although self-evident, does not earn an NRM electoral votes.
Yes, various voices are starting to come out showing how the NRM is complacent, showing how the leadership of General Kaguta Museveni is failing each and every day that passes. And these voices are needed in the ruling party. That's the truth. One of the people who normally comes out on a good day to speak against the NRM ills is OFWONO Opondo. Now he came out to reveal that the Kawempe North by-election, NRM had zero chances, even the way it handled an election. In fact, for me, I took NRM performance in the Kawempe by-election as a sign that 2026 is going to be bloody. In fact, they wanted to show their might. They wanted to see what's going to happen in 2026. So in this episode, I'll come to discuss the statements of OFWONO Opondo, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the sedimentaries we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. So OFWONO Opondo is one of the government spokesperson. And any person who speaks for government largely speaks for even the ruling party. That's the truth. He came out to reveal that NRM is continuing to fail because of complacency and taking long in power. Okay? There are not very many people who come out to point out the ills from within government, thinking that they can displace them out of their position. I'm not saying that OFWONO Opondo is an ideal man who normally comes and speaks truth to power. But even at some points, like 20% of his many times, he comes out to point out the ills of government. For example, he came out to say that NRM fails people. And I think it is a technique. It is a technique used by NRM whenever General Museveni is going. I was a participant in the Kawempe North by-election. The NRM candidate FALUIRE Nambi never used to get a lot of people. But the day Museveni was going to come there, I saw buses failing a lot of people. And I think politically it's not good. That's the truth. That's why I keep on telling people that in a free and fair election, General Museveni cannot win an election. Because he has a lot of issues on his hand. Okay? We are tired of his 40-year rule. Okay? We are failing at every point, even at a simple thing like transition. Before I proceed, I want to play a tape when OFWONO Opondo was talking about this. Yes, sir.
I am saying, look at the style of campaign of NRM. Not just in Kawempe North. In all the elections we have had, and in particular the recent by-election, have you noticed that NRM continues to ferry people? NRM leaders seem to be mercenaries. They hire people from outside constituencies in buses, bus them into Kawempe, as if there are no people in Kawempe to speak to. You can only ferry for psychological purposes. But if you ferry and you have crowds in Kawempe or anywhere else, when you know yourself that the people who are attending your rallies are outside, they are not voters there. Two, you have seen them having tents. You go for public rally and first you spend money on the tents. 3, you have people being accompanied by musicians, and the lead campaigners are dancing on the rostrum. Yes, singing and dancing is part of political election morale boosting, but shouldn't be the mainstay of the election. Ask if you remember the people who are campaigning, the leaders who are campaigning in the Kawempe, what were they telling people that actually matter to the ordinary voter? Do you remember? I am talking about taking the voters for granted. The NRM hasn't done much by way of engaging with the local people, with the voters. And therefore, in my own assessment, I could not see how NRM could possibly have a good show up in Kawempe North by election. Now, what is the bitter truth? The bitter truth, in my assessment, is that I think the longevity NRM has enjoyed, the popularity NRM has enjoyed, and the overwhelming number that NRM enjoys in the country has created complacency, inertia, and a sense of entitlement. And therefore, many NRM people, including some leaders, are not willing to face these truths. That these truths, although self-evident, does not earn an NRM electoral votes. You can enjoy the power, you can enjoy the longevity, you can deliver social services. The years NRM has spent in power can no longer say we have delivered the school, because that's what is expected of a good government.
That is OFWONO OPONDO. So such things which are being pointed out by even by a person who comes from the ruling party must not be taken for granted. Although some of the time they speak about these things to show as if they are speaking truth through power, but yet they come to spin key issues. For example, if ask OFWONO OPONDO about transition or beat about around the bush, but yet the biggest problem of Uganda since independence has always been transition. In fact, politics and transition have always taken us to civil wars and battles and tribal sentiments. I come on to tell people that the day we shall resolve the issue of transition as a country is the day Uganda will be one of the best destination to be. Okay? So NRM, when such voices come out, they must listen to them. What pains me more, even amidst all issues that are going on in the country, people who have voices are keeping quiet. People who should come out to add their voices on very many people who come out to ask for transition and to also speak ill against the NRM's ill performance, they are keeping quiet. Uganda is the only country we have. And if you let it, and if we play with it wrongly, we have a price we are going to pay. Of course, that's my opinion. Do make comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is the first time on this YouTube channel, play with subscribe, like and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you in another one. Peace.